Hey there, cartomancers. April here on Tarot and Witchery. This is my April favorites, or what I call my life in tarot. If you're new here, this is all about like my books and my decks and kind of my life lessons this month. But I'm doing it from a tarot perspective, and each month has a theme, or that's at least what I've been doing for a while now. And this month's theme is the eights, all about the eights in the tarot. As you can hear, I sound sick, but I'm not sick. I actually have allergies. Yes, after 50 years on the planet, 22 years here in Oregon, I suddenly developed allergies to tree pollen, which I have to tell you feels so weird. So weird because I love trees. So I'm going to try to do some magic on this one. I'm going to try to get out there and like talk to the trees, the poplars, the maples, which seem to have set this off, and see if we can like make some kind of energetic truce here, because I'm flabbergasted that I would get allergies. For those of you with allergies, please let me know what works. I'm going to be a little scratchy, but I'm here. And I thought, you know what? This is life. This is real. Here I am. Wow. If you are familiar with tarot, then you know that the eights are all about momentum. They're really about an energy that's almost taken on a life of its own. And those energies are sown long before you ever get to the point where you pick up momentum. And that was the case with this month. It was my 50th birthday this month. Hello out there to all you Aries. And so I have so many fun things to share with you that I got and I did. It was really a fun month for me, even though I was really sick for a good portion of it. It's spring here on the farm and it's always really busy. We have 17 acres here in Oregon, and I began reclaiming some of the main beds around the house. We have something called quackgrass here in Oregon, and we have blackberries that grow everywhere. So every year is about digging in and digging out the quackgrass. And I have to say, I'm really happy that in the month of April, I managed to make it from one end of this major bed around the house all the way to the other end, digging up the quackgrass. And as you can see here, I'm not done with the rock work. We're going to be replacing that. But it feels like such a major accomplishment to have made it this far. I just can't tell you how difficult quackgrass is. Let me know what kind of invasive plants you have in your area for those of you who are gardeners. I said this month was about the eights, and it really was. First of all, strength is the number 8 in the Rider-Waite-Smith system, and that's the system that I work with the most. And strength is about inner knowing, really understanding who you are and being able to stand in your own personal integrity in order to radiate that out. And all of the eights in the minor arcana are really about that. They really exemplify the energy that we picked up a long time ago and carried forward. So at the beginning of the month, I had my birthday. And so I'd spent a lot of time, thinking back and thinking about my life and thinking about the transitions, thinking about the things that I had planted in my life as a youth that I brought forward now. And I really had a sense of understanding at my core, my inner strength. And by the way, 8 is my birth card as well. So that was really fun to come to this place of feeling like I know myself. I really do. I know what's not me. I'm kind of okay with that. There's some things I'd like to get better at for sure, but I'm okay not knowing everything. I'm okay just being a perpetual learner the rest of my life, and the joy of that. And I was really reminded by that inner strength. And so I bought myself, for my 50th birthday, you guys, I bought myself my own pair of ruby slippers. Here they are. Aren't they cool? They're so sparkly. And I did this to remind myself that the magic was within me all along, that I had the power all along. Because I think that was a big reflection for me on my 50th birthday, that the power, that essence of who I am has been there all along, that power and that strength. And I don't own red shoes. I'm not much of a red person, but this was kind of I'm buying these as sort of a touchstone, a marker of passage. Like this was really big to me. But I did read 2 books in particular that I wanted to share. At the beginning of the month, I finished Of Sorrow and Such. Really fun, quick little read. It's a tiny little book. And so hard. I don't want to I don't want to spoil it, but it is the story of a witch. And I'm going to say this is a fairy tale. So it is the story of a witch and her passageway through persecution to the other side. I also read Ariadne, and of course this is her story, and it was very romantic, and for me, just the idea of being on an island all by myself with a magical cottage that takes care of me is just amazing. It's another reason why I love Circe, if you haven't read that one. It's her story. This really highlighted patriarchy for me, reading these books, and brought up a lot of reflections about my life as a woman and what I have seen over the last 50 years since 1972, the changes that have come about for women. My mom got divorced in the 1970s. It was something that, it was kind of a new thing to do. It was very different. It was very different for me to be a child of divorce growing up. It was just not something that most of my friends, their parents were together until I got much older. And it really was formative for me to be a part of these breakaways from society. My mother was a teacher, and then she went back to school to become a lawyer. And when she became a lawyer, there weren't women who were really practicing. It was like few and far between. I mean, to let you know how old it was, when my mom graduated from law school and went back to school as a single parent and did this on her own, when she graduated, it was at a point where you could not get a loan without a signature from your husband, okay? And so my uncle, her brother, went into a bank, went in there and said, "This is my sister. She's trustworthy. Give her a loan." And so it's like my mom had her own law business, and I grew up with that. I grew up with my mom as an entrepreneur, and I as myself have been an entrepreneur my whole life. Coming back to these books, you guys, great books, by the way. But again, it just reminded me of the liberty and the inner strength, that number 8, the strength card that is within me, that momentum, those things that were planted in me as a young person that forged me into this woman who knew that I could do anything on my own, that I didn't need a man, that I didn't need to do things the way that everybody else did them. And I haven't. I've tread the unbeaten path. It hasn't been easy. It's never easy when you're bushwhacking your way to something. My mom used to say, if there's the hardest way to do something, I'll do it. Maybe that's my Aries self. It was so cathartic for me to read these books during my birthday month as I was coming to this culmination, to really look at toxic masculinity, which is still around, just like there's toxic femininity people, let's be real clear here, and to see just how far we've come and to really embrace that inner strength, that 8. And I was really thinking about breaking the mold. I was thinking about how we do things different. And so I've been tossing around this question, you guys, question here. Can tarot evolve? And what does it mean for tarot to evolve? Because, we're seeing a lot of different decks come out, and it's making me wonder, how far does that go? What makes tarot tarot? That brings me to my first deck. For the month of April, I used the Witch's Wisdom Tarot. The artwork on this is so beautiful, and it has a different system. As you can see here, number 1 in the major arcana is the World. It starts out, and so this is its own system, and I wanted to use something that was tarot based, but its own system. I wanted to really explore my thoughts and feelings with what it meant to stray from a traditional system, so that I could really push into my thoughts on what is tarot, what makes up tarot, what am I comfortable with, what am I not comfortable with, how far can we go and it still be tarot. One thing I will say about this tarot is that it is, whoa, let's not set that on fire. It is not light. This is such a heavy tarot. And the first reading I did, I thought, I'll do one reading with this. And I did a reading, and this reading took me 4 days to do. This deck is so intense, it goes so deep, that I would read 3 cards and journal on them, and I would need a rest. So I would say about the Witch's Wisdom Tarot, if you're thinking about it, it's wonderful for really deep work. It really is. It's just, I love the artwork. It's beautiful. It was a wonderful companion for me over this month, and it really helped me to go deep into some questions. And it highlighted for me the Eight of Cups. As I said earlier, the eights are about momentum. They're about energies that were started way back when. And the Eight of Cups is about walking away. It's about the momentum of our life catching up with us in such a way that we are pressed to our own personal integrity. The sixes and the sevens in particular, are about integrity. They are about understanding our integrity. So by the time we get to the eights, it's really we're at this place where we don't have any choice but to live the integrity of the energies that we've already planted. Again, it's time for change. I guess the next 50 years are going to be different than the first 50 years, and that's okay. But again, coming back to this Eight of Cups, I feel like my readings this month were all about, over and over and over again, my readings were about letting it go, letting something go and moving on to something new, creating something fresh, being something new. And the Eight of Cups is about that. It's about letting go. And it's really because, again, the momentum of your own energies is caught up with you, and you have to keep going in that direction. I find when the Eight of Cups shows up, I know what the answer is. I know I need to move on. Like when you get the Eight of Cups, it's usually like, I'm ready to go. I'm done with this. And so I had a lot of that this month where I felt like, I don't know, for those of you who hit their 50th, let me know. But for me, I just felt like I got a golden ticket. I just feel like I got a golden ticket for the rest of my life, not to give a about anything. Excuse my French for those of you who are offended by that easily. But yeah, I was really struck with how I have set my rudder. And although I can continue to steer my ship, there is this aspect of me that is so golden and so true. And I look forward to just really letting that shine and just being myself. In mid-April, I picked up Woodland Wardens and Seed and Sickle, and I decided, hey, I'm going to take these two and I'm going to really dive into them. I was kind of thinking, which one do I want? And so I did a video called Before You Buy, and it's going to be a series that I do. I've already picked out the 2 decks for next month that I'm working with. But I went through an in-depth interview with these decks, and so I did just a lot with them. Beautiful decks, wonderful decks. If you're interested in that, there's a link down below. Curating my read for the month was so great. And how I did this is I kind of picked a vibe for the month, and you'll see in the video that these two really pair very nicely with Witch's Wisdom, which I had already decided to do. So it was just this wonderful synchronicity, this amazing synchronicity for me. And so I got this about the 8th of the month, and then I found my feet around the 11th, and I really didn't journal as much as I wanted. And then I got in the mail on the 12th, I received the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot in the mail. And I had wanted this deck for a while. I actually ordered it from the creator, you guys. I know that I could have ordered it mass market, but I chose to order it from the creator. It's gilded. I chose to order it from the creator to support her and her work, to make sure that the money goes to her. So I got this and I pulled it out and I did a reading. It is absolutely lovely, but it is a completely different feel. I did a reading with it, and I actually even paired it with the Woodland Wardens and the Seed and Sickle Oracle, but it just did not fit. It was not where I wanted to go. So I am putting this away, and probably until the fall, when I think a night deck would be lovely. And although my birthday was on the 3rd, my children, I had them all come down on the 12th because it just worked better. My youngest daughter got me this beautiful hand-blown feeder that hangs right outside my window so I can watch the hummingbirds. It's really a big deal because she paid for it with her own money from her first job. And my one daughter gave me this beautiful lamp. I've been wanting one of these lamps forever. It's so gorgeous. So it was like just this really special lamp. She also got me an eco scrubber, which brings me to the Eight of Swords, because in the beginning of the month, I basically kind of had this little bit of an existential crisis. Yeah, I know, like just throw that here in the middle of the video. Yeah, I had like this existential crisis where I was doing like this thing, like what's happening with the earth, you know, am I doing enough as a human being? Like, am I reducing my carbon footprint? Am I quitting plastics? You know, what am I doing? Am I poisoning the environment? Oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing? And so brings me to this thing right here, you guys, look, my hair. Do you see all the gray? Do you see it? I didn't dye it because I was like, is this inauthentic? Oh my God, am I just poisoning the environment with this? Should I just go gray? And I was really, really freaking out. And the Eight of Swords is like that. Like, this is not some random thought. Again, these thoughts have momentum, and they come from my past. They come from parts of myself that I've been sowing. And so this question of what it means to be authentic and what can I do more to love the planet was really a big thing. So I want to do a quick plug here, you guys. What are you doing to environmentally save our planet? You know, I order a lot of decks. I know that they are not environmental. I don't know that I can do it, you guys. I'm still pretty vain, and I'm not sure that I want to switch over to this. Really don't think I want to. So I'm looking for an environmental hair dye, if anybody knows about it. But one of the things I did to kind of get myself out of this rut, because like when you get in that Eight of Swords, you really feel surrounded by, like something's going to get you. You know, it's like, I don't know how to, I don't want to make a misstep. So I want to encourage you. One of the things that I did was we of course have 17 acres and we can plant trees out here. But I also paid to plant some trees in India, the Kaveri Calling, through Sadhguru's site. And I want to encourage you, please, you guys, I want to encourage you. Trees are going to help save our planet. This is a big piece of saving our planet, is trees, because they create shaded environments, which keeps water in the soil, which keeps the soil activity active, gets plants growing, circulates oxygen and filters the air. So I want to encourage you to plant a tree. And if you plant a tree, let me know down below or email me, you know, plant a tree. And if you can't plant a tree in your own yard, find somebody's yard to plant a tree in, especially those of you in cities. And if you can't find anywhere to do that, then go online and find some place that you really believe in and plant a tree. I'm putting this out there. Trees are such an important part of our future. So I went through and I kind of did this thing because I was thinking about my longevity, but I was thinking about my granddaughter's longevity. And here's a picture of my granddaughter and I. Isn't she perfect? She definitely is. I had so much fun visiting her and my bonus daughter and her husband in Colorado. Unfortunately, I got sick, you guys, with laryngitis right before I went. And so I get there and I can't talk. And my granddaughter's like, Hexa, talk to me. I did go away, but yeah, she was a little confused. Like, why is Grandma Hexa not talking to me? And so that's my name that's the grandma name I chose. You get to choose your grandma name, you guys. You choose your grandma name. That's kind of a cool thing. I chose Grandma Hexa. Hexa means witch in Danish. And it's a little nod to my mom and my Danish heritage. In April, I was really thinking about my own personal genius. Yes, you should think about your own personal genius. And if you do not couch it in that term, you should. Just pick up genius and run with it, because we've all got our own personal genius. So I was thinking about that, which is the Eight of Pentacles right here. I was really thinking about that. I was thinking about my own personal strengths and what I've left behind. That's that Eight of Cups there, in order to come into, knowing myself enough to be able to craft things that are really authentic to who I am. And it felt amazing to be exploring my own genius and what that means to me during this time, and to be able to let go of the I didn't, I should have, I would have, I could have. It was really cool to be able to let go of that so that I could embrace that Eight of Pentacles. You know, you've already got some, like I said, the eights, you've already got some momentum by the time you get to this card. You know, there's so many choices that you've made in Ace through 7. The energy has built. And so really embracing that in order to be present. And in the midst of me, you know, thinking about that, Martin at Tarot in the City made a video about an experience with the Fool, and so did Sylvain over at Sylvain's Deadly Sins, and I made a video on that, all about the Fool, which is my favorite card. I think it's the most important card in the tarot. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. I'm to let you know my quirky personality. This is the kind of weird stuff that I think about, but I love the Fool, and I love I love the beauty and the freedom that comes from being able to embrace ourselves and embrace being present in the moment. And if you can't let go of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, then you won't be present in the moment in order to be in that Eight of Pentacles moment where you're living the genius that you have right now to release onto this world. It was a month of incredible momentum. That's that Eight of Wands, the one that we're probably most familiar with. This is my gift from my witchling child. And she gave me these wonderful beeswax candles, yellow candles for spell work. And she gave me this. Oh my gosh, I'm loving this, you guys. This is so cool. It's this antique funky hand. And look, she gave me this little like spell card I can fill out. Isn't that super cool? That I can put it on there. And then I was talking to her sister, and she's like, you know what you should do is you should do something called 2-minute tarot. I'm going to use this little thing and I'm going to do something called 2-minute tarot. It is kind of bending it. I'm going to get something to go under there. Anyway, 2-minute tarot. And the way that's going to go is, as you can imagine, these little 2-minute videos where I have the card. I'm going to keep the card in here. Isn't that cool? This thing is powerful. I mean, I'm like, wow, you could really, that's got one heck of a spring on there. Yeah, so I thought this was really cool to do these little 2-minute videos, and whenever I feel like it, and to create something where I just do these 2-minute blurbs on tarot. I kind of have those for my shorts, but I feel like they're just too short. So let me know if you have some ideas for 2-minute tarot. Last deck of the month, but certainly not least, that I got towards the end of the month was the Seasons of the Witch, Beltane Oracle. Can you see that? Oh my gosh, you guys. How many of you ordered this deck, pre-ordered it, or already have it? I thought about doing a longer video on this just to talk about my experience, but here it is, you guys. Here's my experience. I love this deck. I love the art. I do not have the other decks. I don't have the Yule or the Samhain deck. I'll probably get those when the seasons roll around, but I have not been disappointed by this deck at all. I have done small spreads and I have done large spreads. As a matter of fact, I did a spread when I was out on the river a little bit, and I drew it with the Woodland Wardens and the Seed and Sickle. This deck has been absolutely dead on. I love the messages that are in them. They kind of have, first of all, it's full color. It's really pretty. The first part is kind of talking about the card. It's sort of speaking to you about the scene that you're experiencing. And then it goes into like why you drew this card. Like if this has happened, then you're being drawn into X, Y, and Z. And then not all the cards, but some of them have little things about like goats and the devil here. When you have like the Sun card, talks about different gods. Like this one has card companions. So it's very in-depth, and I did do the Beltane spread on Beltane. Which brings me kind of to the wrap-up of this video, which is about the last 8, which is the Star card, because 1 + 7 = 8. And it's so beautiful to think about all of the 8s as one. And if you draw the Strength card, to know that the higher octave of it is the Star. To know that the power of the Strength card is found in all of the eights in the Minor Arcana. The Star being the Wish card. The Star being this time of this month of being able to reimagine myself, of being able to open myself to being something different and new. Taking forward with me everything that I've gleaned. And like I said, that thread, that's that strength thread of who I am moving forward, and allowing that dream to sort of grow and unfold in me. And with that, I curated my next month's decks. I'm not going to tell you what they are. I am continuing to discover new systems of tarot. However, I did find that I needed just a regular tarot deck. So for this month, I've chosen an outside system of tarot and a tarot deck that I'm exploring. And then I have 4 oracles that I'm working with this month. And then I also have a Before You Buy that I'm going to be putting out in the middle of the month that has to do with botanical oracles, if you're interested in that. For those of you who made it this far, thank you. I actually want to send a special thank you out to Laura. And thank you to all of you who, wished me well on my birthday and sent me birthday wishes. But Laura sent me this My Soul Whispered Oracle deck along with this beautiful card holder. And what makes it so special, it's special just getting a gift from anybody. I'm such a gifts person. But this was so synchronistic. Like, I had been looking at that deck that day. I'd put it in my wish list. And then afterwards, it had popped up this exact little card holder. And I thought, I've never seen that before. I've seen other card holders. I've never seen that before. And it was like, in my mind. And then it showed up in the mail. Thank you. It was a lovely birthday gift, Laura. And it was so beautiful, and it was so synchronistic, and it was so along with the eights. Again, about momentum, the momentum of our friendship, the momentum of my life, the momentum of what's coming to me, the abundance, the joy, the exploration, the wishing, the knowing myself, the learning how to leave behind my fears, the honoring my inner genius, allowing myself to give up what no longer serves me because it just can't survive. Thanks so much, all of you who watched this. I really appreciate all of you. If you would like this, because it'll recommend it to other people. And until we meet again, may you find the strength to leave behind what you need to ride the momentum to your personal genius. Enjoy the beauty of everything that you are, and allow yourself to be all that is wonderful, new, exciting.